What's good, creative? Sunji again from Ceasar Graphics. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my weekly design review. All right, I have designs that I'm going to be critiquing today, and I'm going to share what is working on the design and what is not working on the design. I'm sure you're going to enjoy this tutorial, so sit back, relax, and keep watching. Before I critique the designs that I received from the creatives, I need to quickly let you guys know this, that there is no one right way to achieve a good design. All right. Don't say because, okay, Caesar is always critiquing my design and then you're not asked to work on design projects. Then you're not start thinking, oh, what does Caesar say here? What am I supposed to do here? What are the things I'm supposed to avoid? Yes, there's this part of, avoiding some, things in design. All right. But the nature of this job is for you to break the rules. All right. In fact, it is the breaking the rules part that make the design look interesting. But you only break the rules when you understand the message. All right. The message is what gives you the opportunity to know, okay, do I need to break the rules? Okay. I need to break the rules. But if the message did not request that you should break the rule, please do not break the rule. All right. And remember that we are storytellers. In fact, our own way of telling story is the advanced part. And why I say the advanced part is because, so many of us grew up with people telling us story with sound, all right, with their voice. Tell us, okay, story, blah, 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 blah. But in the design world, we don't tell story with sound. We tell story with still picture. All right. And the fact that you hear the word tell story does not mean you should now start putting everything together to explain what the project is talking about. I've seen so many designers make this mistake of designing a logo and they now put everything about the brand on the logo. No. Your job is not to tell story like you hear. All right. Our own style of telling the story is the suspense. We use suspense to tell story. It is the suspense that get the viewers involved in the project. It's what makes them want to read or go through the information on the project. All right, so I'm going to go straight to the designs that I received from the designers. And this design here is the first design I'm going to critique today. All right. And the first thing I'm going to say here is the composition. All right. The simplicity here is beautiful. The reason why the simplicity here is successful is because it gives us the opportunity to see the content on the design. So what I expect this designer to do is, you see, I always say this to you guys, that the illustration on your project is what shaped the layout. All right. And so many designers still don't get this part. Okay. So many of us still don't get it. Now, this picture here, all right, is loaded with too many details, too many contacts. I'm talking of people with different outfits, different color of skin. I don't expect you to use this type of gradients. Why? Because the gradient is also, all right, is also part of adding to the message. It would have been nice if this side, this faded part of this gradient here is what you extend to this side of your project. It would have made the project a bit more calm. But because we have all these, characters here, people raising hands with different pattern on their outfit, you need to limit the gradient you use on the project to help making the project look simple. Because I know so many designers feel, okay, the only time I'm supposed to allow white space on my project is when there's enough room for my text to be, visible. No, there's also the part of how you play with colors on your project. You limit the way you use color on your project, the way you limit the use of fonts. So here I have different people here with different color of their outfit. All right. And then we now have plenty hands on the project. I don't expect you to use this type of gradient. Yeah, I know you're trying to, make the logo visible. Maybe that's why you decided to do the gradient, but this logo is not one color. It's a logo with combination of more than one colors. I believe this will still stand out when you place it on the dark background because the color around the logo can stand on dark background. So I don't expect you to have this light here. Okay, so then the other thing that I noticed that this designer did not do well, which is still on the line of not paying attention to the illustration on the project. These people here, we have too many hands here. All right, your placing of the text, all right, on the picture is going to affect the visibility of the text. I don't expect you to even put anything on this picture. All right, I don't expect you to put anything on the picture. Find a better space. There's enough space here where you can put this and it will still be visible. All right, so please avoid the placing of text on picture with too many details on it. It's going to affect the visibility of your text. But there are times when you can do this. Like I said, that the nature of this job is for us to break rules. But you only do this when maybe there's a shadow, all right, behind the text, or maybe there's a darker part where there's less details on the image. That's when you can place this on the picture. But in a situation where we have, this light on the background, the hand, it's not going to help the visibility of the text. And like I always say to you guys, always remember that the project is not really for you, but for the audience. So put yourself in the shoe of the audience. Try create something that will be easier for them to see whenever you're working on, your project. Okay, so let's go straight to the next design. This project here is a bit successful to me. Why? Because I can easily see the information on the project, and I'll tell you why it's easy for me to see the text on the project. The designer played with the contrasting of colors, which is placing a white color on a dark background. All right, and yes, that is another area where every one of you need to work on. That's another way of creating contrast. But the problem with this is that all the elements are too close to each other. All right. The proximity here is not balanced. All right. When I say proximity, I mean grouping your elements, making them be on their separate group. Proximity is also important where achieving successful design is concerned. Grouping your elements, making them be on their separate group is another way of helping your viewers find it easy to access the information on your project. So here I have this title. All right. I have the title and the writer. I don't expect this designer to move the date close to it. There should be space. Now, there are times when you can move your date close to the title, but you only do this when you notice that the title is not carrying too much information. Like the information on the title is not much. But here we have the title, we have the Bible verse, we now have the writer, which is the writer that is long. It's too long. And this alone is enough for the title, for you to group it together with the title. But you now moving the date close to it is making the project too short. And I know so many of you, when you work on design project at times, you notice, okay, you did not use too much fonts, you did not use too much color on the project, and then you still feel something is missing. I'm still not getting it. Have you considered checking if the proximity is balanced? If you're able to group the elements on the project well? Because when you don't do this well, it's going to affect the flow of reading and it's going to make the projects look too busy. All right. The fact that you use the right color on the project does not make your design project successful. There's a part of making the principle of design come to play. The principle of design is what makes your design successful. When you forget about the principle of design and your focus is only on the use of the elements, you are not going to achieve a good design. So every successful design must make sure that the principle of design is working on the project. All right. So here, the proximity here is where I noticed this designer need to work on. So please, guys, please, if you are the designer, you're watching me now, learn to allow space between your elements so they can make them be on their separate group to help the flow, so as to help the flow of reading on your projects. I'm a fan of playing with type in design. Playing with type is another way you surprise your audience. It's another way of making them not to see what's coming. But there's a professional way of playing with it. You don't just play with type because you feel, okay, let me just create that impression that, okay, the money this client paid me is showing on the project. No. Recently, during the week, I did a live training for the creatives. They watched when I was recreating the type to help the success of the project. All right. And that's the same thing that you should always, watch out for whenever you're working on design projects. There are times where you don't need picture on the project, that the type is what you're going to use to create the picture. Now, I'm saying this here now because of the way this designer play with this letter H here. I don't understand why we have this H this way. If this is not necessary, okay, please don't do it. You're not creating a logo here. You're trying to pass a message. So when you now do something that is off on your project, it's going to make the project look confusing. Because really, when I saw this design, I was trying to understand, okay, why do we have the H this way? Please don't just play with type on your project. Play with it because you're trying to pass a message. Okay? It would have made more sense if one of the letter here show a symbol, maybe an icon of a man. That would have, helped the success of the project. But in a situation where this is looking more like, I don't know, looks like a building, maybe the designer can help us. But here, I still find it difficult to understand why the letter H is looking this way. Then, yeah, so the use of elements that are not necessary, all right, that I think is not really making doing anything. All right. And yeah, and also the making your elements too close to each other is what I think this designer need to work on. So I'm talking of this. Okay, it would have been nice if we have it this on just this, but having it here is not necessary. All right, it's not necessary. And I'll tell you why. There's this part of using reputation to help your viewers in design. All right. And but reputation is another way of making your project look simple and successful. It's another way of spicing up your projects when you understand how to use it well. All right. And I'm saying this here because of the way this designer repeat this elements here. All right. It would have been nice if we have it on just the name. So when people see this, they know, okay, yes, the information before it is the name of the speaker. Putting it here is not okay. All right, it's going to be creating confusion already because I can see it here and I can see here. So this let me know that, okay, this is the name of these people. So, but having it here is now looking like, okay, maybe there's a message. There's a reason why this guy is playing up and down on this project. All right. So please, reputation is good, but you use it to help the making your viewers find it easy to understand your project. In fact, it should be used as a code. And yeah, then this is not supposed to be here. It's not supposed to be here. You can always put it here. All right. You can always put it here, put it there. All right. So I'm going to stop here on this and I'll go straight to the next design. I mentioned at the beginning of this project that we are storytellers, and part of how we tell story in design is through the use of suspense. All right. But the suspense can't work when we load the project with everything. The company is into selling of clothes, they sell wristwatch, they sell shoes, and then you now want to promote what the brand is into. You now put everything that the company is into on the project. No, you're going to get the people confused. I know clients most time always say, I want to market my work. I want people to know I'm into this. So please help me do a design that carry everything I do. See, there's this part of you educating your clients. All right. I know so many of you have seen adverts from Apple, all right, and even Nike, Adidas. Whenever they want to do their advert, you don't see them put football. You don't see them put boots. You don't see them put jerseys. You don't see them put what are those other things that they do again. You don't see them put their water bottle and so on. They don't do that. They pick one of their items, put it on the artwork, and design it in a way that it looks suitable to the eye. It looks interesting to the eye. And when they achieve making that successful, there's a part where they will now put their website. The idea of putting the website is for whoever is interested in buying that gadget or that item to go to their site and see other things that they do. Now, I know maybe this client does not have a website, but you are supposed to educate the client and say, please, let's just have one of your items. Let's make it bold. And then we now have the other things that you do under the maybe on one side of the project. It's another way of selling it, making the brand what the brand is into successful. All right. But in a situation where we don't have everything here, we have in fact, I can't even count the number of mobile phones we have here. And each of the mobile phone is on. You can see the home screen of the phone, and everything is just busy there. In fact, the home of the phone alone is calling for attention at the same time, and this made the project too busy. All right, I'm glad you made it to the end of this video. If you have not subscribed, kindly hit the subscribe button, and also remember to click the post notification bell so you get notified when I post my tutorials. Share, like, and comment on this video, and I'll see you again in the next one. Peace.